All right, we had a Super Bowl break for the soccer podcast, but welcome back to another week of That's My Sports Soccer Edition. And there's no Super Bowl Sunday, but we had UEFA Champions League weekdays. And by the way, I don't know if you did see the commercial on Super Bowl Sunday with the UEFA Champions League. It was pretty accurate. You
Yep.
showed like people in America at work stopping what they're doing to watch the UEFA Champions League. That's exactly what I do to watch the UEFA Champions League.
Interesting. I wasn't sure if you did like that or not. When I was
Oh
watching, I
no,
was
no,
like, oh, I wonder if
I
Phil actually
definitely
does
stop
that.
whatever I'm doing to watch it, and I'm like, you know what? I work remote anyways. I don't have to leave at 5. I could get done with work later, so I literally stop what I'm doing to watch the UEFA Champions League. And I don't think any of my current coworkers right now are listening to this podcast or watching it. So
They
I am
should.
safe
Why
to say
aren't
it.
they?
Do I want to show it to them now after admitting this? No. So they're just gonna be left in the
Okay.
dust. I'm sorry.
So I'll put it up right here on the board because this was actually a pretty good matchup for this week in the UEFA. Before though, like two weeks ago, I actually watched a regular PSG game, and pretty impressed. Mbappe, of course, scored in that one as well. But yeah. So we got Real Madrid 1-0 against Red Bull Leipzig. Man City 3-1 against Copenhagen. Were you surprised by FC Bayern losing to I'm gonna say it's like Lazio?
Lazio. Yeah, Italian.
Yeah, I definitely messed that one
Well,
up.
well, I would say I'm surprised when Bayern Munich has been in bad form recently. Like these games will go on at the same time. Lazio, Bayern, PSG versus Real Sociedad. They go on the same time. So I chose what I felt was a better game, and that was PSG versus Real Sociedad. But I knew there was a possibility that Lazio could pull off the upset against Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich has been playing horribly recently. They've been struggling in the Bundesliga, at least to like compared to normal Bayern standards, have been struggling in the Bundesliga. So I knew there was a possibility that Lazio could pull one off against Bayern Munich. So it didn't really surprise me. And then Bayern Munich got a red card as well. So after that, they were at a disadvantage against Lazio. I mean, Lazio could have just sat back, protected the lead. So yeah, Bayern Munich now they got their work cut out for themselves for the next leg. I still think they're going to pull it off and win, but Lazio. You think about these Italian teams; they know how to play defense. So Lazio can just sit back, try to protect the lead. They could get another goal. I mean, they got Ciro Immobile, they got Luis Alberto. So like they got some talent on their club as well.
Yeah. Do you think Harry Kane will go without another cup to put in his arsenal, or is this just kind of like because I see like in the Bundesliga league as well, they did lose to Leverkusen last week in the German Bundesliga, so it kind of looks like the trophy for Harry Kane just kind of slipping through his fingers.
And the irony about it is he left Tottenham for that reason, right? Because Tottenham never wins any trophies, so he left that to go to a team that's usually that honestly it's like a 95% chance they're going to win the Bundesliga. Like literally, it feels like that. Like when's the last time they lost the Bundesliga? Was it like 2014 or something? It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. And the irony is when he finally goes to that club, right? When he finally goes to that club, now it looks like they're not going to win the Bundesliga. So yeah, Harry Kane has very bad luck. But honestly, if he's not winning it this year, he's winning the Bundesliga next year. But I don't think they're winning the Champions League at all. They might not get out of this stage, but even if they do, I don't think they're winning it. You got PSG, you got Real Madrid City. They're not better than those clubs.
No, absolutely not. I feel like Manchester City is definitely better than Bayern, but we'll definitely talk about them in a little bit though with the Premier League because that's been an interesting three-way, not tie, but interesting three-way for first place. I think there's like 4 points combined for the three teams. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the PSG game of Real Sociedad, I really thought it was going to be closer than I thought. I thought at least Sociedad would at least score one goal. But obviously, Mbappe is on the, what do you call it, the field, the grass, however you want to say it. That scored, I think, in the second half, in the start of the second half, and they just flying from there.
Yeah, both goals were in the second half, and yeah, Mbappe was great as we expected them to be. So Real Sociedad, they started off this season in top form. I believe they were top of La Liga at one point in the season. Now they kind of fell off from that, and they're kind of like back to like status quo, what we thought they were always as a club, like upper mid-table La Liga club. So now they're like back to playing like that instead of overachieving. But what I really want to talk about with PSG is Bradley Barcola. He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing on that left flank. I think he provided the assist to Mbappe too, but he also scored the goal at the 70th minute. And I remember him from Lyon because I took a liking to Lyon long ago when they had Depay, they had Nabil Fekir, they had Lacazette during the first stint. So I follow Lyon a bit, and then I noticed Bradley Barcola last season, or at least I knew him about a couple of seasons ago from video games, but like actually playing last season. And while I thought he was good, I just didn't think he was going to be this good immediately when PSG bought him. And I was mad that Lyon sold him so quickly, but he is looking good for PSG. He is playing well for PSG, starting when you got players like Rando Kolo Muani, who was in the World Cup last year for France, and he's starting over him. So yeah, I like this PSG team. I am kind of bummed that Mbappe now is finally confirmed he's leaving because I think they're doing what they should have done a while ago. Instead of getting the big names like Messi and Neymar, right? Getting Verratti, they're building. France has been one of the top countries in producing talent for how many years now, and they're finally playing and winning by getting the top young French players and letting them develop on their team. This is what they should have been doing because Barcola, he's looking good. They got Dembele back to France from Barcelona. Kolo Muani, like I mentioned. They got young French talent and Zaire Emery too. He's, I think, about 17, 18 years old and is already one of the top players for PSG. This is what they should have been doing. And I wish Mbappe would have stayed with this team because I feel like this team would have been a powerhouse with Mbappe as they grow older.
But you did say on the last episode, go check that out on That's My Sports, with Mbappe or even just the Frenchmen in general, they like going to like the Real Madrids or anything like that once they get into their prime.
Yes, it's Zidane effect. Zidane, French legend, arguably the best French player ever, next with Thierry Henry. So he went to Real Madrid. He turned himself into a legend with Real Madrid. And that's what French players grow up idolizing is Zidane, Henry. So the possibility that Mbappe could go to Arsenal too, like Henry did. Like, yeah, that's usually what French players love to go because of those two legends.
So with Real Sociedad, do you think that they're going to be like eliminated in the round of 16? Because I know it's a 1-for-1 series, and they already lost 2-0. And I mean, I'm looking at the group, which doesn't really matter anymore, but they do have 12 points in their group, in Group D, I believe they're in.
Yeah, it's a tough hill to climb. They were at the Parc des Princes, so PSG was home, so they had the advantage of being home. So they're going to go to Spain they're going to go to Spain for the second leg. So Real Sociedad will be at home. It'll be a little bit of an easier crowd for them, but I think 2 goals is a tough hill to climb, especially when you're already outmatched in talent compared to PSG. So I think PSG is going to advance here. But great run for Real Sociedad. Getting to the knockout stages, I think that's an achievement for their part.
Yeah. And how did you feel about the Real Madrid against Leipzig? I thought it was pretty close in that entire match until I think it was before, was it? No, it was the beginning, like literally the beginning of the second half when Real Madrid scored. I thought they were just gonna bull rush through Leipzig in this match. I didn't expect it to be 1-0, in all honesty, because
Leipzig,
they just tied today, Real Madrid, in the La Liga.
Leipzig, they usually do very well against big clubs, and I think it's always because of the way they play. They always press, they always pressure you, so you're not going to have too much time on the ball. You got to have to make quick decisions when you play against Leipzig. So usually that style of play works against bigger clubs. So I wasn't really surprised by this result. They Leipzig were at home, so they didn't get their goal at home, which is usually we get the advantage. There's still no more away goals anymore, but still you're going to perform better in front of your own crowd. But I feel like Leipzig shouldn't be too disappointed about a 1-0 goal. They shouldn't be too disappointed about a 1-0 loss because the game is still achievable. It's still winnable. Even though they're going to go to the Bernabeu for the second leg, they can still pull one out of their hat. I think Real Madrid is going to take it home, but no, I think this isn't too sick. They did all they could with Real Madrid, even though Bellingham wasn't playing. Brahim Diaz got the goal, but I think this is still a game that Leipzig could compete in for the second leg.
So you think with Bellingham that Real Madrid could have just run the table on him, or is he that much bigger of an effect?
Yeah, I think if they had Bellingham, they probably could have scored more. But then again, the player that was in Bellingham's position, Brahim Diaz, his replacement, was the one that scored a goal. So, and it just shows the depth that Real Madrid has on their club, where even if you take out one of their top players, they're still arguably the top team in the world. So yeah, they got a lot of depth on this team.
Interesting. Now, the Man City game, I didn't think Copenhagen had a chance at all in this one. They won 3-1. So anything on that matchup that you saw?
Well, like you said, I don't think they had a chance at all. I was shocked they scored a goal, and I was taking preference over the Real Madrid Leipzig match. So I was watching that in real time, and I was just checking Man City and Copenhagen here and there. When I checked in on Copenhagen and Man City the first time, it was 2-1. I was like, wait, Copenhagen got a goal? But then after that, Manchester City scored another goal. And yeah, it's going to be easy ride for Manchester City. They could put their whole second team in there, and they're better than Copenhagen. So, but like I said, Real Sociedad, it's just an achievement in general for Copenhagen to even make the knockout stage, which is crazy because, like I said, if you and I were on the Copenhagen club, we would probably be the oldest players on that team. Not probably. I think we are the oldest players on that team if we were on that club. So yeah, that everybody there is like in their late teens, early 20s. And the fact that they got this far, you just don't know how long Copenhagen is going to be this good. Because I feel like in the summer, just like how I said in La Liga with Girona, the whole team is going to get bought. So you don't know how good this team is going to be for next season.
Sheesh. Do you think though with Manchester City that their problem is that they're not passing the ball enough? They're just kind of focusing on just scoring instead of getting one of their best players involved, Erling Haaland?
I think actually probably got that mixed up. I think their problem is they're passing the ball too much and they're focusing on the build-up too much and not getting Erling Haaland involved in the attack. Because the problem with Manchester City is that, like, yeah, I mean, it's Guardiola ball, tiki-taka. You pass it around, you build up slowly, and then you get on to the attack. But you play very patient. And the thing with Erling Haaland is not a build-up player. He's a finisher. He's at the end of the attack. He's probably better suited for more direct style of play when the pass gets from point A to point B quicker. But for Manchester City, they don't get to point A and point B quick. They take their time. They take their time. They do the build up, and then when they lull you to sleep, then that's maybe when they pass it to Erling Haaland. But I feel like the way Manchester City plays, there's no problem to it. I feel like pre-Erling Haaland, the problem was they didn't really have like a pure finisher like to finish their buildups after their long buildups, but now they do. And like you even seen it with the Manchester City Chelsea game. They'll build up slowly and then they'll give it to Erling Haaland to finish. The difference was with that game is Erling Haaland missed his chances. But I don't see it as a problem. I see like Erling Haaland is that equalizer where, yeah, you can probably sit back and all that and let Manchester City pass themselves to death. But now they got a guy like Erling Haaland who can win the headers, who can get loose balls, and when he's 1v1 with the goalkeeper, he's going to score. So I don't see it as a problem at all. I mean, they won the Champions League, they won Premier League with that style of play, so I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah, I guess I kind of worded that wrong because it's just like kind of what I was trying to say and what you already answered with Erling Haaland. But yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to go across. Because that's kind of what I saw in this matchup. And then we'll talk about too in the Premier League what I saw with Erling Haaland. So yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, it's Manchester City style of play. It's different than a Haaland that we saw in Dortmund. It's different from that where he was playing a little bit more direct. But it was a question when Haaland came in to Manchester City. Can he adapt to the style of play? Is Guardiola going to adapt to him? And this is how they play. They play with the buildup. There'll be games where Haaland will only have like 2-3. Like I think it was a game we only had like 7 touches. It probably was this game. We only had like 7 touches. But what? Like he'll still score a goal within those touches. He makes the most of the touches that he has. He doesn't need to have the ball at his feet enough to score a goal. Like he'll make the most of it.
Yeah. So we got those matchups coming. Well, these were coming in March, right? The beginning of March is when they go up against each other again.
I believe so. It should have it on that website. I believe so. But next week we're going to have 4 different sets of clubs going against each other, and then I believe the second leg will be in March.
Yes, March 5th. So anyone tune in right there, mark it down your calendars. March 5th. So in this, I didn't realize this. We said it before the show. This is like a 2-game and out. I thought it would be like a 1 and done because it's the round of 16. I'm thinking American sports. Yeah. So this is gonna be interesting. So if let's say Leipzig beats Real Madrid in this one. So how does that go about for anyone that's like a non-soccer fan? Do they just do another match or do they just go by
they have to score 2 goals? They have to win by 2 goals.
So if they don't, so if Leipzig goes 1-0 on Real Madrid still wins.
They go into extra time, which is overtime.
And oh, okay, that's interesting.
Because it's aggregate. It's aggregate goals. So Real Madrid already has 1 goal. So Leipzig has to score 2. Or if Real Madrid scores 1 in that game, Leipzig will have to score 3. So they have to win by 2.
That's crazy. Okay, that should definitely be interesting. I mean, I think it's whatever happened this week, I think it's going to happen in March. So I think obviously Manchester City is going to advance. PSG is definitely going to advance.
I think Bayern will advance here. I think Bayern will get.
Yep. I think Bayern goals. Too. Real Madrid definitely. Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. So moving on to next week, we got some pretty good matches. So we'll start off with the Tuesday matches. So we have Atletico de Madrid against who's tied up with what we just with Real Sociedad. Definitely if they're gonna. I don't know how to say this one, but Inter Milan. Can I just say it like that?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Internationale. I think that I don't know how to pronounce it. But
as much as I like getting embarrassed on here, I think I'm just going to keep it.
Inter Milan. That's the name they go by because they're in Milan, Italy, so they're called Inter Milan. While there's also AC Milan, which they used to be one club back in the olden days and then separated. That's a long story. But yeah, Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid. I think, honestly, this and the game that's right next to it, PSV and Dortmund, those are the 2 most evenly matched matchups of the Champions League so far. So I think either one could go either way. Inter and Atletico Madrid, they're both known for playing defense. Atletico Madrid, they'll play 3 at the back sometimes. Inter Milan, they'll play 3 at the back all the time. I think this is going to be a defensive battle, but I think Inter has a little bit more firepower. They got Marcus Thuram, they got Lautaro Martinez, they got a little more firepower. Hakan Çalhanoğlu for the free kicks for the dead ball situation. So I got Inter Milan getting this one, and this is how I view it. If you see the club that's above, that means they're at home. So Inter, I believe, is at home. So I'm going to get the home team on this one.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking up right here for the last 5 matches, and Inter Milan's just pretty much swept. They're 5-0, whereas Atletico de Madrid, they are 2-1. And the only draw they have is against Real Madrid when they went 1-1. So
yes, and it's at the San Siro too. So yeah, Inter Milan's in Milan. They're at home.
Yeesh. Yeah.
So like you said, great form. I got Inter Milan.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'll probably go Inter Milan as well because it just looks like they're on a pretty good hot streaks here. So PSV versus Dortmund. You said it's gonna be tough. How much money you want to put that Dortmund's gonna pretty much? I think they're gonna lose this match, but I don't know. They're just weird. Or maybe I'm just putting my Bundesliga.
Well, PSV isn't like a super team. They're just a Dutch team that's in amazing form. But still, like the top Dutch team is usually not better than the 3rd best or 4th best Bundesliga team. The 3rd or 4th best German team. They're usually not better, but then again, they could be. We don't know. So I feel like this is evenly matched. And like you said, with Dortmund, you just never know what you're going to get. You're going to get a Dortmund that can score 4 goals. You're going to get a Dortmund that can only score 1 goal like they did yesterday. So
yeah, exactly.
I got PSV. PSV, they're in the Netherlands for this match. And like I said, they're in great form in the Eredivisie. So unfortunately I haven't got a chance to watch the Eredivisie that much to give you like elite analysis on PSV, but I'm just going to take the team that's in better form.
Yeah, I mean, in the UEFA Champions League, where my Dortmund is doing pretty good with they're 3-2-1. They're leading Group F with 11 points. So it's like maybe I'm just nervous with my Bundesliga cap on, where I think Dortmund's going to lose this match, but maybe they'll come out with a victory against PSV. Who knows? But I got to ride with Dortmund. Obviously, I can't go against them.
Yeah. You got to ride with your club, and like I said, PSV is the best Dutch team, but usually, most occasions, the best Dutch team is usually equal to the 3rd or 4th best German team.
All right, it's like a little. And what's so weird is they're both at 3:00. So maybe I'll just watch the Dortmund and then maybe watch
you got
Inter Milan.
You got to
later.
pick one. You got to pick one. So yeah, I'm going to watch Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid. So like, if you want to watch PSV and Dortmund, you can. Or sometimes what I do, I have 2 screens, so I'll just put one on one screen, but the main one with the audio on, with the secondary one on the other screen with the audio off.
Yeah, I still have to do that for football. Maybe we'll have to do it for this kind of football. And then we have Wednesdays, so we could just brush past the Arsenal. I think FC Porto.
No. I was about to say, like, don't disrespect Porto like that, because Porto's a good club. So I would say let's brush. I think FC Porto. I guess you were joking with Arsenal, but I thought you were about to say FC Porto, because FC Porto is a very good club. So I think it's like the same thing with PSV. They're not even the best team in the Portuguese league. I believe they're second. They're second in the league. So 2nd or 3rd. They're usually always top 3. But with Porto, like, they could very well be Arsenal. I think Arsenal will win, but they would be in Porto, Portugal for this game. So I say it's going to be tough. I'm going to go to Arsenal.
Yeah, this looking right here with the key stats, it looks like they're pretty close and everything. So this is definitely going to be a tight race here. Maybe I should just go with FC Porto. I mean, the only thing is different is just their possession percentage, and everything else is pretty good. I might have to go the opposite on you on this one.
Hey, I don't think it's a bad team to choose. So I'm just looking at their squad, and I mean, I already know the Porto squad, but they got 2 Pepes on the team. They got Pepe, that's a center back, Real Madrid legend, I guess, depending on who you ask if he's a legend. And then you got a Pepe at attacking midfielder. But I think it's a different Pepe because the E has an accent on his. So it's probably not even pronounced Pepe. It's probably pronounced Pepe. Who knows? Who knows? So,
Oh.
I want to see the name pronunciations. They also got a center back named Octavio, but they had a former player under their club who is a winger. His name was Octavio. So they sold one Octavio, and then they got another Octavio that plays center back.
Interesting.
Thinking with Portuguese names, it's usually like they're always very similar. Like I always see like everybody. I won't say everybody has the same name. I think that's America really. But like, yeah, I always see the name Octavio. Pepe is usually similar. João Mario. João Mario is a very common name because he's not the only one with the name João Mario. There's a player on Benfica with the name João Mario as well. Yeah, very very similar names.
And right here you can see with the head-to-heads is Arsenal does have a win over them with 12 goals scored to the compared FC Porto's 4.
And then and like you see, like the goal scorer, just see it could also illustrate to you the style of play that one has. You can see that Porto's more defensive, Arsenal's guns blazing. Arsenal's has scored what? Was it like 11 goals in 2 games in the Premier League? Like
Yes.
it was something crazy. Yeah.
Yes, which we will definitely talk about in a little bit. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've been guns blazing. And so like you can't go against Arsenal in their crazy form that they have. Everybody is scoring. Even without a true striker, they are scoring. So look, I gotta go with my club. I gotta go with Arsenal. This is not Arsenal red, but it is Arsenal red. It's just not. This is not Arsenal. It's St. John's, but it's still Arsenal colors. So I gotta go with my club.
Okay, so who do you have in the last matchup on the Wednesday, which is Barcelona versus I can't remember, even though we just looked at it. Napoli. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
That's tricky because those are 2 clubs that are in bad form. At least, Napoli's in bad form. Barcelona has been so. I gotta go with Barcelona. I don't see I can even go with Napoli right now. Napoli has been doing horrible. They should have Victor Osimhen coming back to Napoli after the disappointing performance not his disappointing performance, but as for the country, the disappointing Nigeria performance. He will be coming back for Napoli to play against Barcelona. I assume he should be back by then. But I think Barcelona is going to win this. Napoli, ever since winning the Serie A last season, they had to get a new manager because that manager went to manage the Italian national team, and they've been struggling with managers ever since. They got 2 managers, and their second manager they just hired, they're already contemplating firing him. So, yeah, I don't think Napoli has any chance right now. I got to go with Barcelona.
Yeah, just looking at it right here. I mean, Barcelona is 3-1-1, while Napoli's 2-1-2. So I could definitely see Barcelona winning this one, even though they're head to head. If they're 1-1, well, 1-1, I guess.
2 games, 4 goals. I think that's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid output. Yeah, Napoli, they will be in Naples for this, but I got to go with Barcelona.
That must be nice being over there. So before we wrap up and get into this Premier League, do you have anything else on the Champions League before we get out of here, out of that one?
Why not? I think we pretty much covered it. Like, got our picks together. We're going to see what happens starting next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, 3 p.m.
That's crazy. I guess it's because it's like
Eastern
7
time,
o'clock,
by the way.
8 o'clock over there.
Yeah, in Eastern time for anybody who's out west or Midwest. So 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Word. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking into those ones. So get to the Premier League real quick. I'll just do that. So this is what happened on Saturday. Liverpool coming up with the dub 4-1. Obviously, we were just talking about Arsenal. They won 5-0 against Burnley. And then this
After
one,
winning
Manchester
6-0
City.
last week.
Exactly. So that combined 11, which we just talked about. And then Manchester City and Chelsea tied it up, which Man City, which I talked about before we came on the show, should have at least had 3 to 4 goals in that one.
But
so
you could have said the same thing with Chelsea. There was so many chances Nicholas Jackson had that he just flundered. And like I was even looking at Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and they were right. It was like they showed pictures of Ronaldo number 9 and saying if Nicholas Jackson could actually score goals, and they'll show like pictures of Ronaldo number
Jesus.
9 just dribbling through people, scoring goals, dashing through people, and it's like right. Nicholas Jackson is an excellent player until he has to try to score himself. His link-up play is excellent. He got the assist to the goal with Raheem Sterling, getting Chelsea's only goal. He's just dribbling through players, but every time when he has to score himself, he will absolutely flunder the shot. He will mess up the touch, or he'll sky it over the goal. He can do everything else extremely well, excellent, even great, except when he has to score a goal, which makes me wonder, why is he even a striker? Why he's not a winger? Why is he a striker? He can literally do everything else but score a goal.
Yeah, he only has 7 goals in the Premier League.
Yes, but
For
if
Chelsea,
you watch,
so.
yeah, and if you watch him play, he's absolutely amazing. Why is he a striker? It's so funny. Like he can do everything but score a goal. Like he got the assist, but he couldn't get a goal for himself.
Ay. I mean, in Liverpool, they were definitely scoring goals. That's for sure. They started off. I think they scored first in the first half, and they just kept going ever since. And I mean, obviously, Brentford had the 1 goal, but that was like near the end of the second half, so it wasn't even.
Yeah,
Didn't even matter.
Liverpool. Well, now with Manchester City drawing, Liverpool got a little bit more of a comfortable lead, but Arsenal's right on their tail. I think Liverpool has 57 points right now, and I believe Arsenal has 55. Let's see if I'm right.
Yep.
Yes, I
Got
am.
it right here. Oh, it's pretty much like which I said earlier. It's like a 3-way tie, but not really. I mean, Arsenal is definitely knocking on the heels of Liverpool with 55 points. Manchester City has 53
with a game in hand, so they possibly have 56 at most once they play that extra game that they have, because they got 24 versus 25 games played with Arsenal and Liverpool. So yeah, so they could possibly have 56. So it could be 57, 56, 55. It's a 3-headed race with Aston Villa being a dark horse. I don't think they're ever gonna reach those heights, but yeah, it's looking like a pretty solid Premier League right now. I like the 3-headed race.
Yep, and Harry Kane's Tottenham right there. Boop.
Yep.
47 points. He left them
losing to Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton at home. That's a tough blow. With Manchester United right on their tail. Manchester United, they're coming back. They're coming back. When it looked like Eric Ten Hag was going to get sacked, now Manchester United are being revived, and it's by their young boys. They got Kobe Mainu. They got Garnacho, Alejandro Garnacho. Like they got a lot of good young players. Rasmus Højlund as well. Their old Norwegian striker that they got. Yeah, Manchester United, they're coming back.
Well, they're actually up 2-1 right now with Rasmus Højlund with 2 goals in that one against Luton Town.
Luton Town.
Really? Come on. You know what? Close. I'm close, but not really. So with this, how close this is, do you think Arsenal can beat Liverpool again? Because the last time they played was in the beginning of February. They won 3-1.
It's hard for elite clubs to beat another elite club twice, but it's very possible. I know it sounds like a broken record, but 11 goals in 2 games. They're just free scoring right now. So like they're as hot a form as any. And currently they got the highest goal difference with 36. So yeah, they look like one of the best offensive team, but also defensively, they're only giving up 22 goals compared to Manchester City's 26. Liverpool's just slightly below them with 24. Yeah, I think Arsenal has a chance to get number 1, but this thing with Arsenal is always consistency. Can they keep this consistent? Because like very well, they could lose to Porto, as we mentioned. They could very well lose to Porto. We didn't know. It's the thing with Arsenal is always consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll just go into I know their next 3 matches. It's looking like they can go 2-1 because they do have Chelsea on here, which is next Sunday at 10 o'clock. They're going up against Chelsea. So
The London Derby, the Battle
yeah.
of London.
So we'll see if they can beat Chelsea then, because they did tie with Manchester City. So I think Arsenal will probably win this one, especially if we're just keep talking about, they're just guns ablazing.
They are, but
here.
Chelsea's been great for them. They drew to Manchester City, which for Chelsea, honestly, that's a victory for them. Like, you can even see with Chelsea, even though Manchester City scored that goal late in the game, did they keep attacking? No, they still sat back at defense. You thought they were Nigeria. They just put everybody back on defense, because they 1-1 draw was a victory for them. So I can see them giving Arsenal a hard time too. Disasi look good for Chelsea in defense. Chelsea's looking a lot better than what they've been showing early in the season. So that could be a tough matchup. That's a matchup I'll be watching though.
Because Chelsea's got 35 points right here, tied for 10th.
Yeah, but their talent is much better than that. We all know their talent is much better than that. It's just with Chelsea's just been struggling in recent years, but they got as much money as these top three clubs. They got, well, at least for some of their players are of the same caliber. Like Enzo Fernandez, he could walk into any club in the Premier League. Nkunku, at least to me, he could walk in any club in the Premier League. Nicholas Jackson could walk in any club in the Premier League, just not as striker. So like they got the players. It's just all about, for them, is just putting it all together, getting chemistry.
Yeah, I could see that. Just checking real quick, because there was one. It was FC Bayern. Sorry, was going up against.
I think you could pronounce it either way, actually. So I don't think you're too wrong. I think you could literally pronounce it either way. I think it's the English pronunciation of it.
Interesting.
At least I heard it both ways. So.
All right. I don't feel too bad. They're going up against VFL Bochum.
You just had it, Bochum. I think it's Bochum. I'm honestly, I'm not too sure, but I think it's Bochum.
See,
I'm not too sure, but.
Yep. In the 19th minute, they're up 1-0 right now.
Bayern Munich is?
Yep. Jamal Musiala scored for them.
There you go. Got the pronunciation right.
Bam.
He's technically American, so you should get that pronunciation right. Yeah, he's technically American. I think that last name is not American, but he is American. He's part American, so you should get that right.
But I mean, right now, Leverkusen still has an 8-point lead on Bayern. So do you think anything's going to happen in that one in the Bundesliga, or it's pretty much Leverkusen's to win?
So Leverkusen's to win. They proved that by beating Bayern Munich last week.
3-0.
3-0, definitive. Leverkusen is the best club in the German Bundesliga. They're going to win. They're going to win the cup. I say that, but then I remember last year when Dortmund somehow fumbled the bag and gave it to Bayern Munich at the very last game of the season last year. But I don't think Leverkusen's Dortmund. I think Leverkusen has a better manager. Honestly, I think they got better players as well. I got Leverkusen to win.
I'm just looking at their matches, the next 3 months, and there really isn't any competition for them. They all look like pretty winnable matchups, but that could also be a problem. They could get upset by someone, but there's really no one that's really that tough for them, I think.
Well, you're not giving your own club enough credit. They're playing Dortmund at 420. So
yeah, but they're fourth in the standings, and they've been very spotty so far the last 2 months in the Bundesliga. They're, like I said, they're either tying, winning, or back to tying, or they'll lose by 2 goals. They're very spotty right now.
So you're not going to smoke on the Leverkusen pack for that one on 420. You're not going to.
I'm going to cross that bridge when I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there. Hopefully Dortmund will get their acts together, and if they rally off some wins and they get to that matchup, and I'm like, all right, cool. But as of right now, I think Leverkusen is going to get the dub on that.
Well, they got VfB Stuttgart that following week, April 27. I think that could be a tough matchup. Eintracht Frankfurt also could be a little bit tricky, but I think that's just what it is with the Bundesliga. After Bayern Munich, sometimes Dortmund, sometimes Leipzig, everybody else is pretty winnable. That's how
Exactly.
it is in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's definitely what it looks like too, even in the standings. If you don't really know much about the Bundesliga, just kind of
Yeah.
looks like if you're a bottom tier team, you're just trash.
Yes, for Leverkusen, that Bayern Munich game was a must-win game. That's what the analysts were saying. After they win that, they could win the Bundesliga, and they beat them definitively. So I think it's Leverkusen's to win, and after that, I feel like their whole club is going to get bought. Unfortunately, that's how it is in soccer. When the overachieving team wins something, when the overachieving team overachieves, the big clubs are going to look at their top players and going to want them on their club. They're going to look at the manager and going to want them on their club. So next year, they're probably going to have to sell a lot of people. And then that team that overachieved, the owners are going to look at this and like, yo, we can make a big profit now. We can make a big profit on these players. So that's how it is in soccer. Big bank take little bank.
I wonder if Dortmund will do that, where we've already talked about before in the past, where they get these great players, and because they don't pay them, they obviously leave. Maybe they should change that strategy a little.
Dortmund's one of those clubs too that buys from the smaller clubs. I think Dortmund's on the same level with Leverkusen, probably financially, but Dortmund's known to like buy from like the Freiburgs, the Hoffenheims, the Frankfurts, and bring them to their club. But then after that, it's like a succession thing. Like they're like an upper table Bundesliga club, so they buy from the smaller ones, and then a team like Bayern will buy from Dortmund or from Leverkusen. So like it's like a pyramid. It's like a pyramid, and
the pyramid scam.
it's a pyramid scheme. Like it's not going to change. It's not going to change. This is usually how it is. It's usually how it is. It's not changing. You can very well see Florian Wirtz on Bayern Munich next season because that's usually what happens. Bayern Munich will just buy these players and then they'll win the league again because that's how they keep winning the leagues. They'll just buy the best German players from smaller German clubs, and that's how they win the league.
Interesting. Well,
name me a Bayern Munich player I could tell you where he came from. Not Harry Kane. We know Harry Kane.
We all know. Yeah, we all know that. We have to look. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Musiala is actually from the Bayern Munich youth team. That's the difference. Let's see. Joshua Kimmich, Leipzig. He came from Leipzig. Leon Goretzka. I believe he came from. I forgot where he came. I remember the club he came from too, but he was from a smaller German club. Daya Upamecano, Leipzig. Who else? Rafael Guerrero, Dortmund. Their whole
Kim
club.
Min-jae.
He actually didn't come from a German club. He came from Napoli. But then again, like I said, overachieving club. We talk about how Napoli's bad this year is because their top players have been bought by bigger clubs because they won the league last year. And where did Kim Min-jae go to? He went to Napoli. Victor Osimhen surprisingly stayed, but he's for sure as hell leaving this summer. So, yeah, like I said.
Yeah. I guess it's true, like what Ice Cube said, no Vaseline, big bank, take little bank.
Exactly.
Well, before we wrap it up here, do you have anything else for final words? Or
we can finally announce that Mbappe is now for sure 1,000% leaving PSG. And even though I did say 1,000%, he could very well change his mind and say like he's still deciding. But now the final official report is he's finally leaving PSG. He didn't say what club he's going to, but he says he already has an offer. We assume that offer is coming from Madrid, Spain, from the team that wears white and black or white and gold, whatever year that they're changing it. But we know they wear white, and we know they're Real Madrid. So most likely he's going there. I'm trying to hold out hope that he wants to follow the footsteps of a player that plays very similarly to him, Thierry Henry, and go to Arsenal. Hopefully he's been seeking counsel from Thierry Henry to go to Arsenal. But I think it's going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, all signs kind of point to it, right?
Yeah. And what a deadly team that would be, right? They already got some other top French players, Tchouaméni, Camavinga. Now they're adding Mbappe to it. You got an attack with Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Brahim Diaz, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, Endrick coming in as well. Crazy. It's madness. It's madness.
It's a good what would you say? It's a good time for soccer fans or football fans, sorry.
Depending if you're a Real Madrid supporter, yes. I don't know if this is good for like parity, but if you're a Real Madrid supporter, yes, it's a good time for you. And we were talking about Big Bang take Little Bang. This is just this one was just a matter of big reputation take smaller reputation, because PSG might very well have even more money than Real Madrid. It's just the thing is Real Madrid's a historically great club. PSG's just been great recently because they had an oil owner take over the club like 10 years ago. So they've just been great recently. But Real Madrid is historic. And
yeah, I mean, it definitely shows if you keep winning. Like, I would rather go to a team or a club that just wins all the time. That kind of helps me out a little bit.
Yeah. So like it's like you wonder how Manchester City is able to keep all their superstar players at their club. It could be Guardiola. Where I remember the report last year that they were getting paid extra money under the table. So that's what makes me believe like that has to happen, right? Because PSG has this problem. Despite how much money they have, they can't keep their players at their club. But Manchester City, who has no history themselves, they are able to keep their players. So like, yeah, but like you said with the history around Madrid, Kylian Mbappe, his favorite player growing up, why is wears number 7 is Cristiano Ronaldo. He played for Real Madrid. He's also French. Zinedine Zidane, French legend, played for Real Madrid. The signs just point to Real Madrid. Unfortunately, I want him to go to Arsenal. He definitely would be the striker Arsenal is missing. And if we get Mbappe, we're winning Premier League. We're winning Premier League. I don't care who's ahead of us. We're winning Premier League, but I think it's going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, because also all signs point to it, so I can see that. Does that mean you'll get a Mbappe Real Madrid jersey, or only if he goes to Arsenal?
With soccer jerseys too, I don't usually get soccer jerseys with the names of players because unlike other sports, you can just get a blank soccer jersey. I don't know why football and basketball they don't do that. Like you can't get a blank jersey of them. So like if I could get a blank jersey, I prefer just get a blank jersey. I don't want to get a jersey of another person's. I don't know. Maybe it's the thing now I'm older than these players now, so it's just like feels weird for me to get an Mbappe jersey when I'm like 6 years older than him, something like that. Like it's crazy. I just don't feel. It feels too fanboyish to me, but maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me.
It might be, but I see where you're coming from, though. Especially if most teams that we're older than them, yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, I'm getting it like me. Like let's take it to basketball. I'm getting an Anthony Edwards jersey. I'm like almost a decade older than him. That it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I could see that. But I have no final words. Is hopefully Dortmund wins in the round of 16 in the Champions League, and definitely look out in the Premier League. Also, too, I definitely want to try to check out some Italian league soccer. I keep forgetting to get on that. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I have Paramount Plus too, so I'm gonna try to watch either some highlight ones, the ones that are coming up for this week or even next week.
I'll tell you, in terms of streaming, it's the worst sports app. I know we got Champions League on it too, but the buffering, like even for the Champions League, the buffering, I'm sick of it. I can't wait for Champions League and Serie A to get away from Paramount Plus. I hope they do because I hate it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, move to Peacock.
I know CBS or Paramount Plus will never sponsor us after me saying this, but I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be all right. But yeah, unless you have anything else, I mean, this is a pretty good show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Ask My Sports. We're going to keep doing the Sunday shows. I was a little busy last week, so things got a little confused, but we'll usually be around this time, 11, some maybe earlier or later. It kind of just depends on the matchups that happen that day or that weekend. So everyone just look out for that. And again, just make sure you like, subscribe, follow Ask My Sports on YouTube, trying to get 100 subscribers. So close. We're at 96. But big things to come for the channel. And unless you got anything else, I guess we'll see you when we see you. Peace.
Yep.
tie this game at 60.